and this is a basic success principle, okay? Everything happens twice. Everything. You even are supposed to get born again twice. Everything happens twice. Okay? The first time it happens in your mindset. The mindset is the gateway to the cause of the events to start to happen, right? So when Wilford's wife says, I need to see something in order for us to believe that this is real, this is actually the reason why it's not happening. Because what goes on in your mind is a projection of what reality needs to deem as real, not the other way around. It doesn't like, okay, well, I'm gonna see it first in physical form and then I'm gonna believe it in my mind. No, I have to believe in my mind first that this is real to me. This is my actual existence, and then the breadcrumbs will start to show up, right? And your ability to pick up those breadcrumbs as they show up in the face of uncertainty begins to create your reality, right? So what I'm saying is this for everybody: change your thinking. You have to accept it first by faith. Meaning, like, Wilford needs to believe that he's already successful in his business. He's already a good internet marketer. He's not a newbie. He's a coach. He's a leader. He's a top producer. He's a 682-7. He needs to know this before, because then what happens is that reality starts to manifest. It starts to come true, because your life is a result of your conviction. So who you are right now is who you actually believe you are, right? You are at your minimum standard right now, not your maximum, right? So when you start to push up to your maximum, what happens is this vision starts to create, this belief starts to create, and then from there, everything begins to, you're like, how does this work? Like, how does this happen? Like, what's going on? Like, things are changing. And you can be in the same home position, same everything. But once the belief starts to change, everything around you will shift. I've seen this with so many people, including myself. You know, people are in this business, Enagic, they make no money, no sales for years. Literally years. They make no sales. They make no money. They make nothing. All of a sudden, when I help them change how they see themselves, when I help them go into the future, right? That future starts to become, it gets pulled into the reality. And all of a sudden they're closing deals, they're doing this, they're doing this. They got more business than they can even handle. Okay. So it all starts mentally. Your mentality is the starting point. And listen, you guys know I come on here and I got to battle with people's mentalities. Hello, somebody. Hello. I know I'm sitting next to a couple of y'all right now, right? Because you guys want to stay in the past. And I'm trying to pull you out that past into the present and say, no, there's a new way. And you will, and listen, and like they said in the Matrix, the very same people that we are trying to free are against us, right? Like that's what they said in the Matrix. Like, you got to be careful when you free somebody's mind, right? And so understand that anytime we're dealing with people, we're dealing with their past, we're dealing with their present, and we're dealing with their future self. And typically their future self is foggy because there's a lot of uncertainty. So it's comfortable just to live in the past, but we have to move people out of their past, right? And that's when you will see that things start to change on social media. Things start to change in business because you've come out of your past and now you're in your present moment, living your truth, living who you really are. Okay. Because you see, the way that I get a lot of leads on social media and make a lot of business is because I'm not necessarily speaking to a person's, I call it their shell identity. Okay. Everybody has, remember, there's two of everything: 2 hands, 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, 2 ears, front and back. There's 2 everything, right? So what happens on social media is people are living in what's called their shell identity. Their shell identity. Okay. And this is what most of you guys speak to, the shell identity. But what they're trying to do, okay, is they're trying to get into their core identity, the truth of who they really, really are. And that core identity is battling with their shell identity, because the core identity is like, I need you to break out. There's more for you. There's possibilities. You were designed. You have a purpose. Like, it's all these things. But their core identity is saying, no, this is what society tells you are. This is what your parents told you are. This is what the school system told you are. This is what your belief system told you are. Stay here where it's safe, where it's comfortable, and just accept this. So what happens is people go on social media and they're looking for a leader to pull them out of their shell identity and prophesy into their core identity, so that way they become that person. Or else what happens is, in their shell identity, they take on an identity that doesn't really resonate, that doesn't really produce, that doesn't really like serve. Right. And then what happens is we wear these identities all around social media because we got to look a certain way, we got to be a certain way, but yet no fruits bear from that. Okay. So understand, when you're speaking to people in content and on social media, you are trying to pull people out of their shell identity into their core identity, who they are. And here's the crazy thing: people don't even really know who they are. They don't know. Right? Because they're so used to being identified by who people told them that they were. Marta, who are you?
I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter of God who has my back. And I just gave my life back to God again.
Amen to that. But who are you really, though?
In which way are you asking? Like, what do you mean?
Who are you? Who are you really?
I'm
So,
a
so, so,
go-getter.
so let me help you with this. This is what I mean, right? And if I go around and ask everybody who you are, you probably never really thought about this. Who you are is attached to a purpose. You were sent here for a purpose. Yes, you were sent here to take care of your kids. You were sent here to, be a spouse. You were sent here to do, but everything, remember, is triggered by something. You were a cause to be an effect. So when you think about your true identity, it's who are you here to affect?
So I would say I'm a go-getter. I'm here to help people who have struggled how I did. Because growing up, I never really seen my parents because we're first generation here in Canada. And so like I started working when I was 13. And so I always said I would help women, because I'm a woman, right? So relating to women, help women just be go-getters and have a better way and not have to sacrifice their family and like not see their parents or their kids or whatever, because that's what I lived. So that's why for me, there's no excuse because I started working when I was 13.
So now we're getting closer into the core idea. You see the difference? That's in her, right? That needs to be defined. And the more you define that, you're going to show up different on social media. You're not going to show up as the stay-at-home mom or the mother or the no. Your purpose is going to pull you. It's going to make you magnetic, and it's going to change your message, and it's going to attract people that were assigned to your destiny. You guys see where I'm going with this? A lot of what I do online is effortless because I know who's assigned to my destiny. So I don't need to try. I need to be, right? I need to be my core identity. And then when I go online, I can be me because I'm not trying to get everybody. I'm trying to get the ones who are attached to my destiny. And then that actually trickles down in my work, in my post, and my talking, and my this. And then I'm not surprised when people are struggling and come to me. You know why? Because God took me through a season. So let me give you guys a little hint. Okay. Your core identity is going to be shaped through the struggles that you went through. You went through those struggles because there's a purpose for you to go through that in order to be able to help other people not have to go through that, or to help people have to get out of that. You had to go through that like, if I never struggled in business, I would never understand how some of you guys feel. In fact, what I might even do is hinder you by patting you on the back and saying, oh, that's okay. That's fine. Right. But the fact that I had to sleep in my car, I had to grow up on welfare, I had to have these up and downs and, all these kind of things, and go through loss of family members and be alone. And I had to, that was my training. Like, man, I know what it's like. Listen, I had 30 eviction notices. And I know what it's like when that first rolls around and you got to choose between gas and groceries. I get it. I've been there. I know what it's like when when the property manager has the office right next to your apartment and you got to walk around the other side. You peeking around to see if they went to lunch, just so you can get into your own house. I know what it's like when you show up at that door and that white paper is folded and it's got that piece of tape on it. And you gotta, as soon as you pull that tape, that it says 3 days to pay. And you ain't got nobody to turn to. I get it, right? So it's like, I had to feel all of these uncertainties so that I can be able to talk to you guys and relate and get it. And I'm telling you guys right now, everything that you've gone through, you're going to be elevated out of that. You're going to be able to look back and be like, oh, that's why I was struggling in the beginning with leads. That's why I was, going through all these kind of things. Okay. That's how you're actually going to improve on social media, right? It's like, it's not just about learning a tactic. It's about you, right? It's about you becoming somebody different. So that way you can show up differently online. All right. So let's do a couple things here. So I want to I'll answer some questions about DMs here in just a second, but I really want to talk about the importance of launching your people and this next phase that we're going to be going in as a collective of DD in terms of really getting a Magic ramped up, like, for everybody. Okay, you guys are all underneath this